My boyfriend snuck out on me just to avoid parenting duties.
Oh, 'cause he's still a little boy.
My boyfriend and I have a 3-year-old daughter together. He used to go away very occasionally by himself before we had her, and this has increased quite a lot since she was born. Not for long periods, just a night or two. He also visits his daughter from a previous relationship, which is fine, but I'm mentioning this as it's relevant later. By the way, this comes from additional whereas 6, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OKStorytime subreddit. He is notoriously bad for informing me when he is going away. He always claims he told me and I forgot. There have been times where he has arranged to see his daughter on weekends when plans have already been made. These were all pre the vid. Once I had arranged for my mom to babysit for our anniversary and for us to go out. Another time I was meant to be attending a baby shower and needed him to watch our daughter. Another time I had arranged to go to the theater with a friend. His daughter lives quite far away, so he wouldn't have made it back in time to watch our daughter. He was fully aware of all these plans, and he claimed that he forgot when arranging to see his daughter. I didn't ask him to cancel, as it is not fair on her, so I had to make other arrangements in each case. Obviously, he has been going away less because of restrictions. As soon as they eased, he has been going away. I have never had a night away from our daughter. I had made a couple plans, but each time a lockdown happened, so obviously they got canceled. He says he encourages me to go away and that he is not stopping me. I have tried to explain that his going away so much does stop me, as someone needs to look after our child.
Yes, it's like, hello, boy.
Yeah.
Do you not understand? The baby can't take care of itself.
Right. It's not comfortable for either of my parents to watch her yet, just in case of any risk. In the summer, once restrictions are lifted, I have arranged to see my friend for a couple of days. I told him about it, and he said I couldn't do it on that date because he was going on a cycle holiday. I told him that he hasn't told me anything about this, and yet again, he claims that he did, and I just forgot. He asked me to cancel it, saying that I could go to my friends anytime. I could rearrange it, but feel that I shouldn't have to. He could also rearrange camping. So I have been refusing, and he is now in a sulk. Am I the a-hole for not rearranging my plans? And there is a little edit. I had gotten a family calendar when the issues of him double booking seeing his daughter arose. Problem is, he will only write in it if I nag him to do so. Or he will say that he'll do it later and not to treat him like a child. The verdict from the comments is not the a-hole, but I want to hear your answer. A-hole or not?
Definitely not the a-hole. Your partner is a child, and I would immediately start pressuring him like, look, if you can't do this stuff, clearly, like, you don't want to be in our daughter's life as much as you want to be in your other daughter's life.
Exactly.
So if that's the case, let's just go ahead and set up however much money you're going to send me.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I'm going to rearrange my plans, but can you watch the kid? No, I have plans. So I can't rearrange my plans. You absolute doofus.
So stupid. There are some relevant comments. So, in response to an info request about what the boyfriend is like as a father, OP says he loves our daughter to pieces, but is very much for the fun stuff. He has started helping a bit more. For the last year, he has been helping with part-time and bedtime. Before that, it was just me doing those things. She wakes up regularly in the night. It is always me attending to her, but he says that it's not his fault. He's a heavy sleeper. I have had to wake him before when she has been up from 1 a.m. She wasn't settling back down and I have work in the morning, so I can get a couple of hours of sleep before work. Small update here. This is 4 months later. Whoa. Okay, big jump.
Now the baby's taking care of itself.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, now she's old enough. So I had a word with him about the family calendar and people's suggestions about if it's not on the calendar, it doesn't exist. Making sure my time away was on there. He seemed to go along with it and said that he would reschedule his cycle trip. Great, I thought. Until it came to the morning of the trip. My boyfriend often gets up super early and I roll over and go back to sleep, so I thought nothing of it when he was up early. I see where this is going. I heard the door go, but just presumed that he was taking out the bins or something. But when I woke up, I couldn't find him and the car had gone. I tried to phone him, but no answer. Some of his stuff had gone. Whoa, I asked my neighbor to check his garage for my boyfriend's bike, where he keeps it, but it had gone. Confused and quietly seething at this point, trying his phone a couple of more times. Nothing. I phoned my friend at this point saying that I can find him and will probably miss my train. But about midday, I get a phone call. He had gone on his trip. He tells me to check the calendar. He has typed out my writing and written in his trip. I say a few choice words to him. He basically says that it's my fault as I should have gotten up earlier. So I told him that he won and he is now free to go on as many cycle trips as he wants now.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
And I bet you now he goes, wait, but what do you mean by that?
Yeah.
What, are you mad? Yeah, doofus, I'm mad.
Yeah.
Of course I'm mad at you.
Like, go ahead. You go on your cycle trips. You just can't see our daughter anymore.
Yep.
Sorry. Friend suggested taking the kids to the seaside because her son is a similar age. We spent the next day at the beach and had a nice time. I told my boyfriend to not come back. He says I'm overreacting, but I am done.
Good for you.
There is another small update, but yeah take him to court.
Mm-hmm.
Be like, okay, I have not had a day off. Like, you change all these things. You're basically an absent father, only there for the fun stuff. Like, I'm wondering if, even if she did go on some sort of trip or go to a friend's house or something, would he even be able to take care of this child?
Yeah.
I feel like I wouldn't trust him.
I doubt it. It doesn't sound like he really is the primary caretaker of any of the kids.
Yeah. And
he's just the fun parent that comes in with the gifts and the whatever for his other daughter.
Just wants to enjoy a cute little baby.
Yeah.
He came back on Sunday. Unfortunately, can't change the locks due to renting. He came back like nothing had really happened. I calmly asked him to leave as our daughter was about. He said he wasn't going anywhere and he will watch her next week so I could go away. I said I couldn't believe that he has completely missed the point of what he has done. I called my brother and asked him to pick us up. We have been staying there until I can sort out the practical parts of the split. My ex has called nonstop and turned up at my brother's house where my brother turned him away. He has finally apologized. I said that I am still done. I just don't have the energy or the will anymore. There are some relevant comments. In response to an info request about who owns their residence, we rent. Both names are on the lease. I'm hoping that he will do the sensible thing and stay with his friend. Unfortunately, the reality is that I can't punt him out and change the locks. And he is due back on the Sunday. And as we know, he came back on Sunday.
I would certainly not bet on him being reasonable.
OP says, I'm back at the flat now with my daughter. X is staying with a friend who has a spare room. He is helping out with the rent a bit until I can find somewhere more affordable. For the last 2 weeks, he has turned up on one Saturday. He is giving me child support at the moment, which we are doing directly between us. He seems to think that he is just giving me space, despite the fact that I have told him I am done. My priority for the moment is making sure that my daughter is as settled as possible. It has been very difficult for her not having him about as much as she used to. I'm still at the flat until the lease is up. My ex is still at a friend's as far as I know. He has started seeing someone else, and visits with our daughter have become a little bit sporadic, but it's only been a month and he only sees her once a week anyway, so I will give it a little bit longer. And if it keeps changing, then I think I may have to go to court, but I don't want to stop her from seeing her dad, but also don't want him constantly letting her down. And there is an update.
Well, at least he did the sensible thing of not fighting over the apartment, but it sounds like,
that's nice.
He's just fun dad times only.
Yeah.
Can't really show up on a day-to-day.
Yeah, exactly. I feel broken. I reconciled with my ex and he blew our holiday fund in a spicy club. Oh my gosh. This is 1 year since the original post. We co-parented together well for a while. Then he started seeing someone and became disinterested in our daughter. Wonder if he's got another one on the way with this new person.
Yeah, this guy's trying to repopulate the earth.
Yeah, it seems like it. Fast forward to 3 months ago, he started to show interest again in seeing our daughter because he was single again. I tried to keep it purely about her, but I gave in. I let myself be sucked in with his crappy promises. I agreed to start dating him again. I will be honest, my heart had broken the last 6 months for my daughter, and if I had a chance to make it work, I felt that I owed it to her. We said that we would go on holiday together, so we started putting some money in a jar kept in my flat.
No.
This weekend, he said that he would take it to book a holiday and put the rest in himself. It was about £300. I didn't see him after he left the flat, still living separately, so I didn't think anything of it. One of his friend's girlfriends texted me this morning and told me that they had all been on a stag do. Oh, British slang. What even is that?
It's a bachelor party, whatever.
Sounds good.
OP, I'm so upset that you got back with this guy. You forgot how exhausted you were after those 6 months. I get it.
Poor OP.
You're doing it for your daughter, but like, man, this is not the arrangement.
Exactly. Her boyfriend had mentioned it, and my ex was dropping a lot of money in there. I confronted him, and he admitted to using the holiday money. I just don't know what to do. We are done. Forever done. But I just don't know how I will move past this. And there are some relevant comments.
Well, I'll tell you, the first step is don't get back together with him.
Yeah. There are some relevant comments. Galaxian Warrior says, I can't believe you actually got back together with him. You've been burned time and time again. He only took interest in your daughter after he broke up with the person that he was seeing. He is not a good father to her. That's all you need to know. OP says, I feel like an idiot. He kept saying how irrational it was to leave him in the first place over something so minor. How my stubbornness was affecting our daughter. Ugh. Finally, it came to the realization that I was setting up my daughter for a poor image of how you should be treated. I want to be better for her. I currently am just in contact with his mom, and if he wants to see her, it will be via her, at least for the time being. And there's an update too. Let's just jump right into it.
Let's go.
So this is 2 months since that previous update.
Oh, boy.
Turns out he's going to be a father again. I literally called it. Called it.
Straight up.
Oh my gosh. From what I can gather, the woman is past the 12-week mark. When I was dropping off my daughter for the weekend, he mentioned the pregnancy and whether he could have the baby stuff that I had from when our daughter was little, that we were saving for a potential second. I told him that he is welcome to take anything that he bought, which is the grand total of a novelty baby grow and a hat. Obviously, now I don't need the stuff, and I don't know if I'm being petty, but I told him no, absolutely not. He hasn't even seemed to acknowledge the fact that he got her pregnant when we were trying to get back together. But that's a battle that I just can't get the energy to fight. My ex-mother-in-law has remained pretty neutral, and I have a pretty good relationship with her, but she's been putting a bit of pressure on me to give him the stuff. Am I the a-hole for not even considering passing the baby stuff on to him? Verdict from the comments is not the a-hole, and that's my answer too.
Yeah.
Not the a-hole.
1,000%.
Yeah, we were trying to get back together. So either you cheated on her with me, or you cheated on me with her. Either way, F you.
Just an absolute buffoon of a man.
There are some relevant comments. Nico09 says, not the a-hole, don't do it. He absolutely does not deserve it. Did you even ever get the $300 back that he stole? Opie says, no. If I'm honest, I didn't really talk to him after that. Anything to do with our daughter goes via his mom. I want to try and maintain my composure for my daughter. I couldn't cope with this bull crap excuses anymore. He doesn't seem to think that he owes me anything. And update number 3, we're going to jump right into it. This is 10 months now since this last update. If we're keeping track, the baby is now 5. My ex had a baby boy. Finally, he finally got the son that he wanted. Can you imagine? That's why he's doing it.
Maybe that was what it was. Is that what OP's saying?
Trying again. He's like, you can't. No. It's like King Henry with all his wives. He's like, you can't give me a son. So gone with you. We'll try the next one. And then no one can give him a son until like
guillotine next.
One. Yeah, exactly. I ended up giving him the very few items that he bought for our daughter, which mainly consisted of novelty hats and novelty baby grows. Still unsure what that is. But what I am sure of is the fact that you can go to iHeartRadio, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, whatever your favorite podcast app is, and search OK Storytime, because you're going to find full episodes with more stories just like this one.
And you better believe it.
Better believe it. Yeah, there is a little bit more to the story. I think our thoughts are the same.
They're the same as they've been all of this whole time.
So let's just wrap this thing up.
You are worth more than this pathetic man.
Yep. Unfortunately, he has little to do with our daughter. He has let her down many times since the new baby came. I won't close the door as I want to be able to hold my head high and tell her I never stopped him seeing her, even though a big part of me wants to tell him to do one. British slang. It breaks my heart that she gets so excited and he lets her down. I have toyed with going to court and make him fight for a visitation. I just don't think that he cares enough. On a positive note, my daughter is very happy and my brother and his wife are very involved, so she can see what a healthy relationship looks like.
That is good.
That
But
is good.
I do say definitely do the visitation stuff. If he's constantly letting your daughter down.
I'm uninterested in meeting anyone at the moment, but maybe one day I'll dip my foot back in. I also got a promotion at work, so I'm in a much happier place now. And that is the end of that story. But yeah, I agree. It's like, I think your daughter, especially once she grows up, I think she will be more disappointed from the fact that her father is so unpredictable like this than in the fact of like you potentially protecting her from that. I think you should definitely stop him, and I don't think she'll care that you just like, let him try again.
Well, if you go through like the courts and create a visitation process and then he doesn't show up to that, there's no way he can ever try to spin like, oh, well, I was being, it's like, no, you just did not show up.
Yeah.
No one was keeping you from doing this. There was a whole arrangement we had and you refused to show up.
Exactly.
And so and then he can be held accountable for that.
Yeah.
My fiance refused to change her last name after marriage, and now I want to break up.
Wow, didn't know you were anti-feminist. What?
A few weeks ago, my fiance, 27 female, and I, 28 male, were talking about our wedding, which is scheduled for June of next year, and our honeymoon. At one point, I jokingly said something to the effect of, "We'll see about that, future Mrs. My Last Name." And she visibly cringed. She told me she isn't going to be Mrs. My Last Name. By the way, this comes from user Chemical Seesaw 99. And if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OK Storytime subreddit. Shoo. I said, okay then. I'll be Mr. Her Last Name. Because I don't really care if she takes my name or I take hers. I just want to share one. She said, nope, I'm keeping my name and you can keep yours. I asked who our future kids would be named after. She said her because she's the mother. So I'd be the odd one out. Edit to add, I should have clarified this, but she's also opposed to hyphenating. She's adamant we should each keep our own last names and any future kids will only have hers. For context, I grew up in a foster care after both of my parents passed away. I didn't have any other biological family, so I was bounced around from home to home from the ages of 5 to 18 when I aged out. I never felt welcome in any of those foster homes and never felt like I had a real family. I always swore I'd have a real family one day, though. So naturally, I want to share a last name with my wife and our kids. I truly don't care what name, mine, hers, a new one that we both choose. I don't care. It doesn't matter to me. I just want a real family that I feel connected to. Have you said that exactly that way? That sounds like the exact thing to say.
Right.
To your wife.
Just let her know, man. Communication.
She needs to. And if she does know that and she's still saying this, yikes.
Yeah.
We've been dating for 3 years and engaged for almost 5 months. And this is the first time that she said she doesn't want to share a name. Previously, she never said anything when I called her the future Mrs. My Last Name. So either this is new or she had been holding it in. I've tried to talk to her about why she doesn't want either of us to change our last name, but she doesn't want to discuss it further. And I'm at a loss of what to do. Would it be an overreaction to break up over this since she won't talk to me about her reasons? She's acting like everything is normal, so I don't know what to think. Thank you to all who replied or sent messages, except those calling me a misogynist for even suggesting she change her name. I've decided to try to have one more serious conversation with her about my feelings on this subject. I've packed a box with all the things she's left in my house, so if it doesn't go well, I'll return her belongings and end things. We're meeting at a park and I have a good friend who's going to stay nearby, but unseen just in case things go south. If for no other reason, then I have a witness that I tried everything I could to talk things out. There are some comments, but I mean, if that really is, look, I mean, clearly this is a very big deal to you. This is like something that you absolutely want out of a marriage and out of a family, is that y'all share a name. And if like for some reason your partner is diametrically opposed to that idea, well, then I think it won't work. Ally mom of 4. Why is she so opposed to it? Has she said why? It's something very important to you. Is it important enough that it could be the end of a relationship that would otherwise be headed towards marriage? I don't think you are overreacting at all. Your feelings are completely valid. She may not want to talk about it anymore, but she's going to have to if she wants the relationship to work. In the end, only you know what your deal breakers are. OP says she won't tell me. When I ask, she says she won't discuss it further and stops speaking unless I change the subject. Grey Dog 1316 says, what did that interaction look like the last time it happened? OP says she said she didn't want to discuss it and walked away. I really feel like if you pull like the move where it's like, if we can't discuss this, then this relationship is fundamentally over. I feel like she'll
I don't know. That
realize.
feels extreme to me.
No, but it's like that's his position. It's like, I'm not going to continue to move forward and go to marriage if you're like, we can't have the same name.
She's not willing to communicate. I think that is something more serious to take into account in a relationship. Obviously, like the name thing is important to him, so I don't want to make it seem like that's not serious, but to break up only over that feels extreme right now.
I guess.
But again, like I think you can bring up like, hey, like if we're going to go into a marriage, we need to be able to communicate.
Yeah,
especially if we're gonna have kids. Like that's an even bigger like underlying issue to this.
Yeah, I think you're right. It's more that just like, it's like, what happens if there's something else we need to talk about and you pull this?
Yeah,
like
there you go.
Miroku 000 replies, this is more concerning than the original problem. She can choose not to take your name, but she can't unilaterally choose to tell you that you can't take her name, and she can't unilaterally decide about the kids either. The next time she walks away, ask her to set a time when she will be ready to talk about it. If she's unwilling to do so, then start playing the same game about any wedding planning. Tell her you don't want to set a date until you resolve the issue with you being excluded from the family. Balcony Herb says, tell her you'd like to change your name and why. She may not realize the reason for it and may be projecting her desire to maintain her name on you. If she can't hear you and understand how hurt you are, I'd be second guessing as well. Since you aren't imposing a change on her, it's worth a discussion. OP says she knows why. She knows all about my past. Interesting asks, does she know why because she knows your past, or does she know why because you've explicitly spelled it out to her? Some people don't connect dots very well. OP says I've told her very clearly why I want this. And up until recently, she seemed to understand. And there is an update. Yeah.
So she understands why he wants this, but is still like doesn't want to talk about it.
And I think that at the end of the day would be the deal breaker more than like, well, it's like the names. It's more like this, the way that we're behaving with each other right now, unsustainable. It's both of them. She's not speaking, so she's not being clear. She's not being open. He can't be open because she won't have the conversation.
Yeah.
So it's just like, again, what happens when this is something else?
Right.
We met up at a park today. I asked her late last night if she could meet me to talk about something, and she immediately agreed because it seemed she thought it was about the wedding. My friend was with me, but waited in my car so he wouldn't be spotted. But I did decide to turn on the voice recorder on my phone because in the past she's manipulated her telling of certain situations to make it seem like she's blameless. Red flag. Mm-hmm. I overlooked it before because I thought she was just used to getting her way, but now I realized that was a mistake on my part. So I got there early and walked around for a few minutes before meeting up with her in a picnic area. I asked her to sit down with me because I needed to ask her some very important questions about our future. I told her I needed answers and I needed her to give me enough respect as a human to not walk away when I'm trying to talk. I started by explaining again how I've never felt like I was part of a real family since I lost my parents, and how important it is to me that I feel that connection to my wife and kids. It may seem like a small thing to most, but to me, it's huge. I've lived most of my life feeling like I'm completely alone. She told me she knows how hard my life has been, and now I have her, so I'm not alone anymore. Then I asked her if she could please explain to me exactly why she is so vehemently against us having the same last name. If she acknowledges that, she knows how important it is to me that I share a name with my wife and kids, so I feel like I'm in a real family and not an outsider. I reminded her that I don't expect her to take my name, and I'm more than willing to take hers, to hyphenate, or come up with something different entirely. I just want to share a name with my wife and kids, so we are one family unit. Her response to that was surprising. She rolled her eyes and told me it's, quote, so cringy when people have the same last name after they get married. That was her sole reason for us not sharing a name.
I
don't believe her.
I am so
At this point, I honestly don't believe her. I'm like, what's going on? Are you secretly married to someone else? Does someone not know? Are you in a relationship with another person I don't know about? What is going on here to where if your name changed, something in your life gets exposed? What's happening?
It's possible that she's just so against any sort of tradition, which, sure, you could be against it, I guess. But like, because it's cringy, girl, grow up.
That almost could have been worse than anything she could have said.
That was literally like, that evoked such a reaction in me.
So I asked her to maybe elaborate a little bit on that. She went on a whole rant about how she thinks it's cheesy when she meets a couple and they introduce themselves as the Blanks, the Smiths, the Jones, the whatevers, and that it makes her want to throw up when she hears it in so many other ways, and it makes her angry. When I brought up the fact that her parents have the same last name because they're married, she said, that's different. And
What?
I wouldn't understand because of being an orphan, which really threw me.
Whoa!
What are you talking about? That's different. Your parents are married
Whoa.
and they have the same name. When I brought up the fact that her parents have the same last name because they're married, she said, that's different. And I wouldn't understand because of being an orphan, which really threw me. Long story short, I let her know that I need some time to myself to really think things over and decide how I want to move forward. I asked her to give me time and I would let her know when I'm ready to talk. She didn't like hearing that, but I told her I needed to leave. So now I'm at home, thinking about everything and wondering how to move on. I know the relationship is over, but I haven't made the breakup official yet. It's going to hurt for a long time, but I know what I need to do for my own mental health. I can compromise on some things, but I can't be with someone who won't also compromise. Her belongings are still packed up, and my friend has offered to drop them off once I end things with her. Luckily, I live in a gated condo community, so once I take her name off the approved visitors list, she won't be able to come to my house, thank God. I know she won't react well when I tell her we're over. And that's all. I'm going to take some time for myself and try to get over everything. Ending an engagement is tough, and I don't wish this heartbreak on anyone. And we have some comments. TN Bell 0522 says she seriously tried weaponizing the very reason that you want to have the same last name as your spouse and kids when trying to tell you why you wouldn't understand why her parents sharing a last name isn't cringy, but other couples are? Seriously, I'd say she doesn't deserve a discussion for the breakup. Write a letter, put it in her box of crap, and have the friend leave it at her door. Unless the ring is an heirloom and you want it back, of course. In that case, make sure you get it away from the witch. What 3214 says, and she still doesn't make sense anyway. Because how are her parents, a married couple that share the same last name, any different than any other married couple sharing the same last name? I'm sure if OP had pressed her to define how it's different for them, she would have come back with the airtight argument, it just is. OP should let them know apparently their daughter thinks they're the only married people out there who aren't cringy for doing what most married couples do. There is literally no logic to her argument, just some odd sentimental past for her parents, but no one else. She has no empathy for her fiance whatsoever. And there is a second update 6 days later. I anticipate this just being, and she's trying to be a nightmare because you should be gone.
Yeah. Her logic absolutely does not make sense because she's not even offering any. Like she just said that it's cringy for them to do it. And yeah, it won't go any further into the explanation about why it's not with her parents.
Yeah.
So yeah, this is a big red flag. I'm so glad that they're not like actively getting married for
not anymore.
Yeah.
I can't think of a more cringy thing than having literally zero empathy for your orphaned fiance who's like, I want to share a name with my beautiful family. I don't care who it is. It's not about me. It's just about us all having a name.
Oh
and
my
you're
gosh.
like, ew, gross. That's giving me the ick.
Yeah, it's like, what?
And it's like, okay, well, you could have fun being single because we're breaking up.
Literally.
6 days later, I went to work on Monday, and my boss could tell I was depressed. So she asked me what was going on. I explained everything that I had on my mind and the conversation I had to have over the weekend. She asked me if I wanted a distraction from everything and offered to have me accompany her and her husband, who are co-owners of the company I work for, on a short trip to meet with some potential clients. I would be working on the project anyway, so she thought it might be good to have me in the meetings, especially if I needed to get out of town. So early Tuesday morning, the three of us left for the meetings. We were busy all afternoon and part of the evening, so I wasn't checking my personal cell. At 10 p.m., I saw I had a lot of missed calls, I wonder from who, and texts from my fiance. By a lot, I mean over 50 texts and 19 missed calls since that morning. It seems she went to my condo, and when security wouldn't let her in, since I took her off my list of approved visitors, she flipped out. So she started calling and texting me. Then she started trying to contact our mutual friends and her family, none of whom knew where I was either. Her last-ditch effort to get me to answer her was to threaten to call the police and say she hadn't seen me in days and was worried for my safety. And when I didn't answer right away, she went through with that plan. The police were allowed to enter the condo community, and when I didn't answer my door, they couldn't do anything else and left. This didn't please my fiance, and she kept calling and texting. When I saw the calls and messages, I sent one text in reply that only said, "I'm on a work trip until Thursday. Please respect my need for time to think about everything. We will talk when I get home." Then I ignored everything from her for the rest of the week while I was away. Fast forward to Thursday evening. We land back in the city, and I drove home wanting to go to bed and sleep in the next day since I was given the day off. I guess she was lurking nearby because I was told later she tried to follow me into the gate but was stopped by security since she never scanned a parking pass. That's when she starts blowing up my phone again. I texted back one more time to tell her to give me space and we would talk later, then showered and went to sleep. What's so funny about this too is that she was the one who would go like, "We're not talking about this anymore," and then would just walk away. And then you do it to her and she literally like has a fatal meltdown like in her computer brain where it's like, no, wait. I'm going to call you 72 times.
You would think that would be like a learning experience for her of being like, whoa, self-reflection. But no, clearly not.
She can't. There's nothing else to reflect. It's just the self.
Yep.
So that's when she started blowing up my phone again. I texted back one more time to tell her to give me space and we would talk later, then showered and went to sleep. By Friday morning, I had 73 more texts and 32 missed calls. At that point, I knew I had to just end things with her sooner rather than later so I could get some peace. Long story made short, as of yesterday afternoon, I've ended the engagement. I took the same friend who was nearby last weekend so I'd have a witness in case she did anything. She refuses to give the ring back because she thinks I'll come to my senses soon, and she'll keep it until then. I don't even care. She can have it. And by the way, you have full episodes with stories just like this that you can listen to on Spotify, iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you listen to podcasts. All you have to do is search OK Storytime, and you can listen to freaking 60 days more worth of stories.
So many days.
We have a little bit more story left here. I think OP has done the right thing. That's you got to call it.
Yeah.
When you realize that your partner's completely unfit.
Right.
For a partnership, it seems like.
Mm-hmm. It sucks that, being ready for marriage and talking about marriage is kind of how you ended up here. But at the same time, you learn something new about your partner every day. It's still an important conversation to have. It's still good that you are not quite married yet before figuring out this huge red flag.
It's good it happened before the wedding.
Yes.
Her friends and family started calling me within 15 minutes of me ending things. I've blocked them all since they're being nasty to me and blaming me for it all. Judging by what they're saying, it seems like she made up a story about me having a mental health crisis and wanting to be alone. Again, I don't even care. My good friends were told what happened when my friend sent out a text with a brief explanation. I hope she leaves me alone so I can heal from everything over time. I'm just so emotionally exhausted. There are some comments. Lincoln Hawk Halling says, "You've been more than reasonable with her on this issue. You even offered to take her name if she didn't want yours. You thoroughly explained why sharing a name was very important to you. She instead chose to ignore all of that and drew her line in the sand. I don't know what she was expecting. Honestly, it sounds like you dodged a bullet if you hadn't had this argument and went through with your plan for marriage. It appears she had very little, if any, respect or consideration for you. Glad you are free of her now and can finally have some peace, OP." The real Carpe Felis says, "I think she loves having control and getting to have everything her own way far more than she ever loved OP." A lot of commenters are saying she sounds unhinged. I agree, but I think it's more than just that. You've described before how she always has to have her way. I think the name issue was a power play on her part because the cringe thing sounds like utter BS she made up on the spot. And now that you've broken it off with her, she lost the upper hand. And now she's pissed. You definitely haven't seen or heard the last of her. She's going to get vindictive and you'll probably need a restraining order. Yeah, I was going to say we should definitely get ahead of any false narratives that she's putting out there. Mm-hmm. If people are reaching out to you, at whatever her family unit, Your friend seems to have already taken care of it on the friend side.
Yeah.
But in terms of her family, I would just send out a brief group message to them and be like, this is the last, I'm not going to respond to anything that gets sent here. I'm just sending the real story.
Yeah, exactly.
And then that is the end of that story.
Yes, it is.